And if a member of civil society who enters into any subordinate association must always do it with a reservation of his duty to the general authority, much more must every man who becomes a member of any particular civil society do it with a saving of his allegiance to the universal sovereign. We maintain, therefore, that in matters of religion, no man's right is abridged by the institution of civil society, and that religion is wholly exempt from its cognizance. Religion is wholly exempt from the view of civil society, of the government. Out of sight, out of mind, out of consideration. Because it is proper, there's a second remonstrance, because it is proper to take alarm at the first experiment upon our liberties. We hold this prudent jealousy to be the first duty of citizens and one of the noblest characteristics of the late revolution. The free man of America did not wait till usurped power had strengthened itself by exercise and entangled the question in precedents. They saw all the consequences in the principle, and they avoided the consequences by denying the principle. We revere this lesson too much soon to forget it. Who does not see that the same authority which can establish Christianity in exclusion of all other religions may establish with the same case any particular sect of Christians in exclusion of all other sects? That the same authority which can force a citizen to contribute 3p only of his property for the support of any one establishment may force him to conform to any other establishment in all cases whatsoever. These men were, so to say, on the ball. They could reason very clearly cause to effect. And their argumentation here is paramount to any other argumentation for religious liberty. Bear in mind, as we proceed, this principle. Who does not see that the same authority which can establish Christianity in exclusion of all other religions may establish with the same case any particular sect of Christians in exclusion of all other sects? Bear this in mind as we proceed. Next remonstrance. Because the bill violates that equality which ought to be the basis of every law, and which is more indispensable in proportion as the validity or expediency of any law is more liable to be impeached. If all men are by nature equally free and independent, all men are to be considered as entering into society on equal conditions, as relinquishing no more and therefore retaining no less one than the other of their natural rights. Whilst we assert for ourselves a freedom to embrace, to profess and to observe the religion which we believe to be of divine origin, we cannot deny an equal freedom to them whose minds have not yet yielded to the evidence which has convinced us. If this freedom be abused, it is an offence against God, not against man. To God, therefore, not to man, must an account of it be rendered. Because the bill implies either that the civil magistrate is a competent judge of religious truths, or that he may employ religion as an engine of civil policy. The first is an arrogant pretension, falsified by the contradictory opinions of rulers in all ages throughout the world. The second, an unhallowed perversion of the means of salvation. And what's the difference between that and the Catholic Church? This is the way, you have to do this or you won't be saved. Because experience witnesseth that the ecclesiastical establishments, instead of maintaining the purity and efficacy of religion, have had the contrary operation. During almost 15 centuries has the legal establishment of Christianity been on trial. What have been its fruits? More or less, in all places, pride and indolence in the clergy, ignorance and servility in the laity, in both superstition, bigotry, and persecution. Because the proposed establishment is a departure from that generous policy which, offering an asylum to the persecuted and oppressed of every nation and religion, promised a lustre to our country and an accession to the number of our citizens. What a melancholy mark is this bill of sudden degeneracy. Instead of holding forth an asylum to the persecuted, it is in itself a signal of persecution. It degrades from the equal rank of citizens all those whose opinions in religion do not bend to those of the legislative authority. Distant as it may be in its present form from the Inquisition, it differs from it. I'll start that again. Distant as it may be, paying money to the churches, distant as it may be in its present form from the Inquisition, it differs from it only in degree. The one is the first step, the other is the last in the career of intolerance. These are profound declarations. The magnanimous sufferer of this cruel scourge in foreign regions must view the bill as a beacon on our coast, warning him to seek some other haven where liberty and philanthropy in their due extent may offer a more certain repose from his troubles. Because finally the equal right of every citizen to the free exercise of his religion, according to the dictates of conscience, is held by the same tenure with all our other rights. If we recur to its origin, is equally the gift of nature,